top stories, Ethiopia is said to be in the right track to digitalizing its economy. And the UN warns 500,000 refugees could flee from Sudan. Hello and welcome to ETV News with me, Shifara Olako. Now, the National Task Force established recently to assist with the safe and smooth repatriation of Ethiopian nationals from conflict-affected areas in Sudan reviewed its activities over the past 2 months earlier yesterday. Ambassador Burtukan Ayano, State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, who is also the chair of the task force, presided over the session. The task force deliberated on the results achieved so far and challenges it encountered that need intervention in due course, it is stated. It is also disclosed that the Ethiopian Embassy in Khartoum tabled a summary report on behalf of the task force on the progress of the exercise. In her opening remark, the State Minister noted the government is doing everything it can to ensure the safety of nationals in Sudan. Moving on, Africa's growing internet connectivity has accelerated the continent's digital transformation. That's according to Visa's regional director for Central and Eastern Europe, the Middle East and Africa. In an interview with EBC's Investors Cafe program, the regional director said the work Ethiopia is doing in the digital sector shows the attention it is given to the ever-growing issues of digitalization. We have more on that.
The world is developing a digital system at a high speed and new technological innovations coming out every day, expansion of internet connectivity and countries updating their operating system into a digital one have made the process of digital transformation very dynamic. Electronic payment system is one of the main areas where digitalization is being widely used, and in this regard, it is growing rapidly in many African countries, including Ethiopia, in addition to the developed countries. Visa is a corporation engaged in the provision of digital payment services. It also facilitates global commerce through the transfer of value and information among global network of consumers, merchants, financial institutions, businesses, strategic partners, and government entities. The corporation, which has started operations in Ethiopia since 2019, describes the good opportunities for digitalization in Ethiopia and throughout Africa.
Africa has 1.4 billion people today, and by 2050, most people think it'll be 2.5 billion people. So massive young population. I think the population today, 50%, over 50% are under 25 years old. So you've got big group of Gen Z, they're young, they're digitally savvy, they're increasingly tend to be urban, which is great. The other thing that's happened is they're digitally connected. If you look at Africa about 10 or 11 years ago, internet penetration was less than 10%. It's now 40%. In fact, it's getting close to where the developed world is. So you've got young people, they're increasingly connected. We're starting to see more and more fintechs coming in. Our industry went from a hardware industry to largely a software industry where everyone's demanding these end-to-end digital experiences. So we think fintechs have been extremely important. Africa has continued to increase receive the amount of investment from global players in fintech, and you've got these great African fintech startups. So that number continues to grow every year.
Financial inclusion is one of the fundamental benefits expected by the society in the digital world, and according to Torre, digitalization is contributing significant role in increasing the economic benefits of the society.
Financial inclusion is absolutely critical, and we think everyone plays a role. We think we play a role. We understand that when more people are included, it uplifts communities, economies, and small businesses. So it's vital. government drives a role. The national IDs in Ethiopia will make it easier for people to sign up digitally and be able to open an account and start making commerce.
The regional director says that the future digital development of the world needs the participation of many players like financial institutions, entrepreneurs, technological institutions, and governments in the digital ecosystem.
The more players you can bring in to the ecosystem, fintechs, financial institutions, a lot of what has to happen at each market level is you need to have innovation at the market level. So entrepreneurs that can come in and be able to solve problems. And I think governments that have been attracting fintechs and have been bringing them in, they've seen the results of it. Also, when you have fintechs in, you start to create local champions. I think governments and university systems that support technology, that support tech innovation, and also support training of the next generation of technologists are really important. I think that's happening here as well, which is really critical.
The Ethiopian government has put in place ambitious strategies to digitalize its economy, focusing on favorable regulatory environment for businesses and technological innovation. The economic and digital reforms have already resulted in new market players and a growing banking sector.
Now, the former Ethiopian Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn has arrived in Sierra Leone to lead the African Union's short-term election observation mission ahead of the June 24, 2023 general elections in that country. At the invitation of the Government and Election Commission of Sierra Leone, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, approved the deployment of short-term African Union election observation mission to assess the report on the conduct of this election. Sierra Leone's general election is scheduled for June 24, in which the country's president, parliament, and other local representatives will be elected.
ሬንጀርሶች ትልቅ የሥራ ኃላፊነት በዚህ መስክ ውስጥ ካሉት አካላት ትልቅ የሥራ ኃላፊነት ከተሰጣቸው መካከል አንዱ ናቸው።
በኢፌድሪ ደንና አካባቢን አየር ንብረት ለውጥ ኮሚሽን ኮሚሽነር ፕሮፌሰር ፍቃዱ በየነ ህብረተሰብ ብረት አታ እና
Now, moving on, Ethiopian ambassador to South Korea, Desi Dalke, received a 2023 Best Ambassador Award from the Korea Ambassador Culture and Friendship Association for making significant contributions to Ethio-South Korea friendship and cooperation while serving as Ethiopian ambassador to South Korea. Speaking on the award ceremony, the ambassador said the award serves as an inspiration and motivates him to intensify his efforts of fulfilling his duties as a representative of Ethiopia and its people in South Korea. He further reaffirmed his commitment to working to further enhance the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and South Korea. Chairman of the Korean Ambassador Culture and Friendship Association, Shin Hyun-doo, said for his part that Ambassador Desidalke made significant effort in advancing the relations between Ethiopia and the Republic of Korea. The African Union Commission adopts Agenda 2063 to realize prosperous Africa by ensuring inclusive growth and sustainable development on the continent. Special Advisor and Representative of the Chairperson at African Union Commission, Jean Mfasoni, stated that the member states should stand together to focus on achieving the goals of Agenda 2063. Have a listen to this.
Key flagship program, we start with peace and security. This is a key. With no peace and security, you cannot build anything sustainable and durable. Second, you build integration through resilient infrastructures. Be it through PIDA, the program for infrastructure development in Africa, which has a number of flagship projects, such as in the field of road, railways, air transport, and so on and so forth.
In order to ensure regional transformation, it is crucial to modernize the agriculture sector of every member state by budgeting in a special way and facilitating inter-regional trade, he has underscored.
Also, you have agriculture, which is a key component of development efforts. We have CAADP, the Comprehensive Agricultural Policy, which member states have adopted in 2003, meaning that the main expectation from member states was that 10% of the budget of any country be devoted to agricultural development, because that way you can handle properly the problem of poverty, the problem of hunger, and be able to organize trade among the continents. As you know, the third one I could cite is interregional trade. And trade and investment integrate economies.
Moving on, the African Union Commission's Peace Fund Secretariat signed an agreement with the World Food Programme to scale up the existing technical and financial support to various peace and security activities in the thematic areas of operation under the AU Peace Fund. Reflecting on the linkage of conflict and development, AU Peace Fund Secretariat Director Dagmawit Mogus underscored the importance of mutual collaboration with development partners to ensure the gaps on preventive interventions to avert crises. Under the agreement, the Peace Fund Secretariat and the WFP jointly identified the areas of strategic engagement to scale up activities in early warning, conflict prevention, and mediation. And in business, the Ethiopian Airlines wins the Best Airline in Africa award at Skytrax 2023. Living its motto of bringing Africa together and beyond, Ethiopian has created and Africa-wide and transcontinental air connectivity networks linking its main hub Addis Ababa to the rest of the world. Take a look at the following account by our staff reporter, Tigist Nessa.
Ethiopia, a member of Star Alliance, has had more than 75 years of journey, which made it leading aviation group in Africa. Ethiopian, by all accounts, is aging beautifully. Over the decades, the airliner has established itself as a leader in all facets of aviation business, technology, leadership, network expansion, and aviation mentoring. Ethiopian this time wins the Best Airline in Africa award at Skytrax 2023, taking place during the Paris Air Show. Mesfin Dassau, Ethiopian Airline Group CEO, stressed that the airliner is truly pleased by the top award that received at the Admire of World Airline Awards. Crowned with Skytrax's prestigious award for several years in a row, is a testimony of the airline's consistency and commitment in delivering high-quality services. Dassau also added that the airliner is very much proud of the strong vote of confidence of its valued customers. Edward Plastid, CEO of Skytrax, for his part, reiterated that Ethiopian wins this top award as Africa's favorite carrier for a 6th successive year, and this level of consistency is a fabulous achievement for all the Ethiopian Airlines management and frontline staff. It is to be recalled that Mesfin Dassau, Ethiopian Airlines Group CEO, noted that the airliner is working its level best to comply with international efforts in reducing the airliner's carbon footprint.
We know ICAO has set a goal for the industry to go to net zero carbon emission, and Ethiopian Airlines cannot lag behind. When we talk of sustainability, one of the issues is to reduce our carbon footprint.
Customers in many different occasions have been producing videos and vlogs about Ethiopian Airlines regarding their experience in several occasions.
For some years now, I've been traveling with Ethiopia Airlines, and these are some of the reasons I like Ethiopia Airlines. One is affordable compared to other international airlines out there. Secondly, the airline has a great hospitality, and thirdly, it's an African airline. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys what it's like to travel with Ethiopia Airlines. I will be traveling from Jakarta, Indonesia to Lagos, Nigeria.
덕분에 잊지 못할 생일도 만들어 주시고 너무나도 특별한 경험을 만들어 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. 여기 아디스아바바의 도시는 매우 매력적이고 아름다운 곳이기 때문에 많이 이용하였으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Living its motto of bringing Africa together and beyond, Ethiopian has created Africa-wide and transcontinental air connectivity network linking its main hub Addis Ababa to the rest of the world. The airliner serves 133 international passenger and cargo destinations, including 63 African cities, with daily and multiple flights with a minimum layover in Addis. As a veteran carrier serving a vast inter-African network, Ethiopian flies to more destinations in the continent than any other airline.
And now moving to continental news, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees has deplored the consequences of the conflict in Sudan, which has forced 500,000 refugees to flee the country, and another 2 million are internally displaced. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, warns that unless guns are silenced, exodus of people will continue to flee the country. Shagai Mata has more on that from Africa News.
The conflict in Sudan has forced 500,000 refugees to flee the country, and another 2 million are internally displaced, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees revealed on World Refugee Day. Filippo Grandi, who was in Nairobi, Kenya, on the occasion deplored the absence of a political resolution in the conflict.
It is a worrying situation because we haven't seen much progress so far, if any, in the negotiations between the two generals who are fighting in the country.
Les deux généraux qui mènent, qui se battent.
We are unfortunately gradually witnessing the destruction of this country.
Grandi was speaking a day after donors at the UN conference pledged close to $1.5 billion in aid to Sudan and its neighbors, including Chad and Egypt, that host those fleeing the fighting. Cairo had announced it would introduce entry visa for all Sudanese.
There is also an element of insecurity that risks spreading as a result of this situation. My appeal to all the neighboring countries is the following. I understand your security concerns, but please keep your borders open, because these people are really fleeing for their lives.
Sudan has been plunged into chaos since April 15th, with the army led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan battling the paramilitary rapid support forces commanded by his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo. According to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project's latest figures, the death toll has risen above 2,000.
Well, the viewers, you have been watching this news hour. Now a quick recap of the top stories. Ethiopia is said to be in the right track to digitalizing its economy. And the UN warns that 500,000 refugees are fleeing from Sudan. Well, viewers, that's all the news there is for now. Thanks a lot for watching.